For this activity, we sat down with 4 students and asked them questions about the 2 different types of pollination, insect pollination and wind pollination. Our central question was, can you see the difference between wind-pollinated and insect-pollinated plants? The students we interviewed ranged in age from kindergarten to 4th grade. We began the activity by assessing students' prior knowledge and asked students if they had heard of pollination before and if they knew what pollination was. Maybe?
He sucks up the inside of a flower so it can open up.
Next, we conducted an activity where we read a series of statements to the students and asked them which statement they agreed with the most.
The first statement was, trees have no flowers. The second statement was, most trees have flowers. The third statement was, only fruit trees have flowers, we call it blossom. And the fourth statement was, all trees have flowers.
Number 2, the most trees have flowers.
Maybe these 2.
These 2, most trees have flowers and only fruit trees have flowers. What about you, Ethan? That one too.
Students were asked to explain why they agree with the statement they chose.
Because, like, oak trees and other trees are like, have some flowers, but some don't. Because some are old and some are new, but, some don't have flowers.
You don't know? Have you seen a lot of trees with flowers on them? Yeah, so that could be why, right? Because you see a lot of trees outside with flowers on them. Do you guys see any trees that don't have flowers on them? Yeah?
After this activity, we asked students if they knew that there are 2 types of pollination.
Nope. All students did not know there are 2 types, so we drew upon their background knowledge of pollination from the start of the interview to help them come up with the first type, which is insect pollination. Students can distinguish insect-pollinated plants from wind-pollinated plants by their color and smell. Insect-pollinated plants have bright colors and they smell good. So have you ever noticed a bee try to get near you if you're wearing a bright colored shirt? Yeah, that happens to me all the time.
You ever had bees fly at you because you're wearing a yellow shirt? Yeah? Also, have you ever smelled a lemon? Does it smell really strong? What does it smell like?
They're strong. I like it. I like to eat them.
Yeah, are they sour? Yeah, so the bees really like that too. Once the students realized that bees like plants that have bright colors and smell good, it helped them make the connection that bees are insects. Therefore, insects pollinate plants.
Bees are a type of what? They're a type of...
Insect?
Oh, and bees are a type of what? They're a type of...
Insect.
After students realized that one type of pollination is insect pollination, we asked them probing questions to come up with a second type, which is wind pollination. Some of the questions we asked were if they knew where corn and rice comes from, if they knew that rice and corn comes from plants that require pollination, and how rice and corn are pollinated. When students did not seem to have background knowledge on this type of pollination, we explained that wind-pollinated plants are often the opposite of insect-pollinated plants because they are not brightly colored and they do not smell good. This helps students answer our central question, which was, can you see the difference between wind-pollinated and insect-pollinated plants?
To reinforce the difference between insect pollination and wind pollination, we put together a picture sorting activity for the students to complete. We asked the students to sort the pictures into the 2 categories of wind pollination and insect pollination. During the activity, we asked guiding questions such as, have you seen that plant before? Is it bright? And does it look like it smells good? For the most part, students were able to correctly categorize the plants with an exception of a few. Having the background knowledge of color and smell seemed to be beneficial for the students.
For the last part of our activity, we took the students outside to assess if they could see the difference between an insect-pollinated plant and a wind-pollinated plant. We asked them to pick out a plant and explain whether it was wind-pollinated or insect-pollinated. Then we had them explain why they thought it was an insect or wind-pollinated plant.
Insect.
What makes you think that they're insect pollinated?
They're colored.
Exactly.
Wind-pollinated. Insect? Why do you guys think it's insect?
Because it's bright.
It's bright. Good job.
Throughout this project, we learned that grade level impacts the depth of knowledge that students will have on a subject. The students in the upper grades had more knowledge on pollination, however, the lower grades did not. Especially the kindergartner had little knowledge on pollination as a whole. As future educators, this showed us that knowing the level of the child's background knowledge is important before teaching a lesson. This project also taught us that using visuals helps activate a student's background knowledge. For example, when we used a picture of the lemon with flowers to further explain the role of color and smell in pollination, it helped the students use what they already know about lemons and apply it to the new information being taught. By using visuals, it helped enhance the students' understanding of the information. Along with using visuals, this project taught us that using different modalities can enhance a student's learning and engagement. We found that the picture sorting activity catered to tactile learners, the outside activity catered to kinesthetic learners, and using visual aids catered to visual learners. As future educators, we further understand the importance of differentiating instruction to cater to students' different learning styles and needs.